Xin Chào from the land of perpetual summer. I'm going to talk a little bit about two of my favorite sandwiches in the world, the Reuben and the BLT. So delicious, and how many restaurants mess them up? Like pretty much everyone except for like 2 or 3. Today though, I'm going to do a BLT. Now the problem that people have with BLTs is that you should have the right kind of bread, it should be toasted, it should have crispy lettuce, crispy bacon, and ripest tomatoes. And there's the big failure because most people don't put a ripe tomato on their BLT. There's like 3 main ingredients. Use the best you have. Summertime is the best time to make them. But I woke up this morning craving a BLT and thought, no, I've got these tomatoes that are rotting. I got to do something with them. So I made a quick jam with them. I'll talk about that later though. Because the bacon part, a few weeks ago, I made a pate. So for today's Things on Toast, we're doing pate, which isn't as hard as it sounds to me. It's also not as posh as you think. It's basically peasant food. It's made from livers. Pate made with bacon, some tomato confiture, and maybe some crisp lettuce on some bread. So that's what we are going to do today. If you remember from the pate video, you need to make the pate the day before because it needs time to have a nice little siesta in the fridge. So we're going to go ahead and start that now. What I have already done, because we've watched that video, I'm not going to repeat everything and reinvent the wheel. I have already lightly browned on all sides the liver. Now, because the local bacon here tends to be rather salty, I did not add a whole lot, actually I didn't add any salt to this before I sauteed the liver in the pan. So you can always add salt later as you taste, but you cannot subtract. So bear that in mind. So I'm going to go ahead and do first, so this was about 400 grams of liver. This is about 90 grams of bacon. I've chopped it up. I'm going to go ahead and saute that in the pan now. Now, while you are sauteing your bacon, you can go ahead and prepare some of the other ingredients. Onion. This is a medium-sized one. I would say about half chopped up. I've got some already here because of the magic of television. Haha. Did that earlier. 1 fat clove of garlic. Smash. Put that in. Fresh thyme. I happen to have a lot of it this time. Just run your finger along the opposite side of the growth and this little leaves come right off like magic. Woo! Now, because I'm using bacon in this recipe, I'm going to omit the butter that I would normally use in pate because there's already enough fat going on. And what you want to do is render out some of the fat. You can get some of the bits kind of crispy. You want to render out enough fat so that you can cook your onions in it next. And that's what we're going to do next. Woo! GBD, golden brown delicious. Use your bacon fat in here to cook your onion. If there's a lot of it, why is my pan smoking? If there's a lot of it, you can drain some of it out. I am not. I'm just going to toss it all right in. And let that those onions sweat a bit. Dijon mustard, nice spoonful. Right in the pan. Also, a little bit of wine. Not much. Third of a cup. I happen to have some right here waiting for me. As it is, I'm filming this on a Sunday. It's Sunday. Sunday, fun day, hell day. Add a little bit of wine to your pan. A little deglaze, all that happy bacon bits on the bottom. When this liquid reduces by a little bit, like we did last time, let that cool before we go ahead and blitz. If you have to do it in 2 batches, because I have a small food processor, so I'm going to have to do it in 2 batches. That's fine, just mush it all in the bowl afterwards and mix it, taste for seasonings. At that point, you can tell if you're going to need more salt. And then blitz everything together, taste for seasoning. Also, at this point, if you have any sherry vinegar or balsamic, my balsamic bottle seems to have disappeared. I think I know where it is. I'm using red wine vinegar, just a spooch, technical term. Yeah, I'm a total idiot. Last time I put this in a fancy little mold so you can, you know, reverse it like a train. What I'm going to do this time instead, because I'm using it as a, what do I do with all of my bowls? Since I'm using this as a spread and no one's actually going to see it, you know, on a charcuterie plate or whatever, I'm going to go ahead and just smoosh into this bowl here. Smoosh, technical term, yes. There's a little bit of chunks in it, that's fine. I don't care, I like it. It's very rustic. You can, like we did last time, we did a layer of fat. I used a little bit of duck fat. You can use bacon fat or clarified butter as a layer. But what I'm going to do, because I'm using this more as a spread, I'm going to use plastic wrap and press it directly against the surface of the pate so that it doesn't turn some weird funky color. Seal it really well, pop that in the fridge. We'll check back on it tomorrow. It needs a long cold chill, at least 4 hours, but I would really go longer because there's some liquids in here that all the flavors need to, you know, dance around and be happy together. Isn't that what cooking's all about? You know, dancing around and being happy together. I made it this morning, so I forgot to film me chopping up tomatoes into little pieces. They don't have to be peeled or chopped up finely, and no one needs to see my glorious pre-caffeinated morning face at 8 in the morning. So what I just did is tomatoes, sugar, some lime juice, a little bit of microplaned garlic, a little cumin, salt, red pepper flakes. Now, a lot of tomato jams, people like to add things like cinnamon and cloves, and those are great and all, but those remind me of Christmas, and so I taste it and I taste Christmas. It's August! I don't want to think about Christmas yet. Here's the recipe for my small amount of tomato jam. What you want to do if you want to make more or less, or you just want to weigh how many tomatoes you have on hand, what you do, the conversion factor is new over old equals conversion factor. What does that mean? That means, let's say you have 500 grams of tomato. So you have 500 grams of tomato, divide that by 330, and that equals, I'm not good at math, so I use my old calculator. 500 divided by 330 equals 1.51. That is your conversion factor. So what you would do is you take this recipe and multiply, let's say it's 90 grams of sugar times 1.51, you would use 136 grams of sugar. And go all the way down. That's your conversion factor. See? Math. It's easy. So I have about a cup's worth of tomato jam here. It's rather chunky. It took about an hour on the simmer. The liquid evaporated, and now it's awfully sweet. Now I'm going to wrap this in plastic as well and pop it in the fridge. And I will see you tomorrow morning. We will revisit this and make ourselves a breakfast sandwich that will be delicious. Yum. Woo! Good morning, Chiquitas Bananas. I'm hungry. So I got this great loaf of bread from Cafe Tartine. I'm going to make little sandwiches. So I'm going to cut this in half. Let's see what we're doing. I've recently snapped the blade on my bread knife, which was a horrendous moment. I'm now fine, but this little $1 serrated knife from Co-op seems to work pretty well. Who knew? And now we assemble my pate, which has had a nice overnight chill. I have my tomato jam, confiture à la tomate, and I have lettuce somewhere. Little spread of pate. And smush. And eat. Haha. Okay, that's a good sandwich. My French grandmother was from Provence, And I have a bunch of weird sayings down there. I don't know if this is a French thing or a Provençal thing, but there's this weird saying that they have when something tastes really good. C'est comme la petite culotte en velours du petit Jésus, which translated is something kind of vulgar about baby Jesus's velvet underpants. But anyway, this is right up there with baby Jesus underpants. But I just had a thought. Sometimes there's no need to talk. Now this is la petite culotte en velours du petit Jésus. I can't talk. See you next time. Mid-love. Oh. Shut the front door.